Things just got worse and worse and worse as the night went on. Again, valiant effort down the stretch for the Bucks. Just too little, too late. Let's go down and let's see what Coach Fletch and the rest of the crew has to say. And as always, go Bulls. So let's head into the locker room right now and see what the guys have to say about that one. Wow. Where do the Buccaneers go from here? What an incredible atmosphere. What a good win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They snapped a 7-game winning streak. How we feeling, Bucs Nation? It's time to party, baby.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Recher podcast. As I let everybody know, we are live from Amalie Arena here on the podcast. Happy April 11th, 2025 to you and yours, rocking the blue and gold today. Feeling pretty regal today on the program. Hope everybody is having a wonderful Friday. It is kind of funky to be here at Amalie Arena on a Friday. You get so used to that schedule where it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. But this week, crazy as hell with the whole Monday, Wednesday, or not Monday, but Wednesday, Friday, and now Sunday. We have a matchup here at Amalie Arena as well before the fellows are back here on Tuesday, and then one more regular season game after that. Getting down to the nitty-gritty, that is for sure. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. I am everywhere. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. And we have it right here. And shout out to David Terry for the super chat, man. Every single $5, $10, $2 helps. The super chat, please, if you can, please donate to our guy, like our guy David Terry. We love you, buddy. Thank you so much. You are the best, David Terry. David called me the other day as well. If you want to get in on the conversation, we've been starting this up here on the program. We've had a couple of calls so far. David Terry's called in. Our guy Honest Hammer, Russ, is called in. So there is the link right here. StreamYard.com/AMZYG2WAE3. If you guys want to chime in on the conversation today, hop on the video call. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on your laptop. We are welcoming in you to the program. Video calls. It's the new wave of the future, baby. And we're trying to be interactive right here on the Recher podcast. You hear the horn in the background. This is Amalie Arena, Lightning and Red Wings tonight, 7 o'clock puck drop. The Bolts look to bounce back after that OT loss to the Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll have sound from head coach John Cooper, as well as Gage Gonsalves here in a bit. Let me tell you everything else we got coming up on the program today. It is a busy one. A lot of things going on here today, including a couple of guests in the 1 o'clock hour. We've got Leo Fernandes joining us at 1 o'clock. Tampa Bay Rowdies, their home opener tomorrow night at Al Lang, a day after they relieve Robbie Neilson of his coaching duties so early into the season. Why? I'll tell you why at 12:30 today. Also, Jordyn Listro joins us from the Tampa BaySun. Did you see that goal that she scored last week in the big win over Fort Lauderdale? She is incredible. The playoff push is coming, so we'll check in with her at 1:30. We've gotten updates from the Masters throughout the program. We've got UFC 314 tomorrow night. Are the Rays going to turn this thing around ever? They got run ruled yesterday at Steinbrenner Field. Not good enough. And then, of course, a congratulations to the absolute coaching legend that is the one and only Jim Macaluso. We were there at King High School last night. Insane. I want to hear from you. Questions, comments, concerns, put them there at the bottom of the screen. There is the link right there. If you want to chime in, like our guy David Terry did earlier this week, join in, man. Get here, talk, Dolan, Nick Bowen. I'm going to answer your question here in a bit, buddy. But and happy birthday. happy Friday to you, Dave. I knew I was going to get it eventually. We're going to star this one right there, buddy. So that'll be a star chat as well. All right. So we saw more of the reports today about Elliotte Friedman and his thoughts on Isaac Howard, and, talking to some of the people within and without the, within and outside of the organization, Nick, as much as, we're not looking at a guy like Elliotte Friedman. I mean, he is as connected as anybody in the sport, right? Anybody in the sport. But there's also a lot of different levels to these conversations. There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of, right, this is what he said and he said and he said. I mean, some of the things we heard today here And this is why you show up to Amalie Arena. This is why, certain people say they know the sport and other people actually go out and cover it. This is not over yet. This is not over yet. We've been speaking about this for a while. Let me make sure my time is a little good for you guys here. Okay? It's still not over yet. We had this conversation with Eric Erlinson on Wednesday. We had this conversation with Ed Encini yesterday from the Tampa Bay Times. Both those right here on my channel. I'm sure Isaac Howard and his camp wanted him here earlier. They wanted him here with the club as soon as humanly possible, especially after Michigan State got bounced out. Was anybody thinking that Michigan State was going to lose that early on in the NCAA tournament? No, nobody saw that coming. So if you are Julian Brisebois and you are the Tampa Bay Lightning organization, right, as much as he's a part of your future, you're not going to mortgage your future just because, Isaac Howard's team lost early. We got to get him in there no matter what happens, no matter the ramifications of it. No. Everything has to come within due time. If you want to be a part of this organization, think about that. Do you want a guy that's going to treat you like that? Do you want a guy that's like, hey, screw everybody else. I deserve it to be with the big club? No. So in the long run, it's not going to work out. We saw how this story worked out before with Jonathan Drouin. I remember this clear as day. Be careful with Drouin. You don't want to lose that asset. Yeah, right. You don't want to lose that asset. What'd you do? You flipped it for Mikhail Sergachev. What'd you do? You won 2 Stanley Cups. And then you flipped Mikhail Sergachev for Connor Geekie and J.J. Moser, 2 guys that are part of your future. So for all the people out there that are bitching and moaning and saying, like JBB fumbled the bag, they haven't had a prospect like this. If he's not going to come up at the right time, if he's not going to add to the team this year in a way where he's not just going to add, but he's not going to subtract anything, meaning playing well in his own zone, if anybody's earned the benefit of the doubt, it's Julian Brisebois. And it doesn't mean that you have to agree with every call that he makes, but shit, man, the guy has 2 Stanley Cups. He is the best general manager in the National Hockey League right now and probably the best GM in sports. So to sit there and act like he fumbled the bag is not even out of his hands yet. You still have control of this kid until next year, until 2026. This does not preclude him from being on the team, even in the next regular season games, even in the postseason. Luke Glendening is hurt. We found out today. What happens if things change? What happens if more guys get hurt? What happens if you come playoff time and you lose 2 or 3 forwards? You don't think that they're going to look at Isaac Howard as an option? Isaac and his camp better not be short-sighted. Listen, it's part of the negotiating tactics. You want leverage. I understand that. I can't fault the guy because at the end of the day, you're looking out for yourself. That's fine. But if this is an end-all, be-all, take my ball and go home, trade me, and hissy fit kind of crap, then the Bolts are better off without him. Not saying that that's what he's going to do, but if we get down to that level. So all the keyboard warriors and Twitter tough guys out there that want to sit behind their laptops and their cell phones and act like Julian Brisebois doesn't know what the hell he's doing, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You don't know what you're talking about, saying things like that about Julian Brisebois, right? Things like this, you can't doubt him for things like this. All right, so there's my 2 cents on that. We'll hear more and more about it. Listen, if it comes to a point where they have to move on from him, they'll trade him. They'll trade him. No big deal. He's an asset at the end of the day. If that's how he wants to be treated, fine. Trade him and bring somebody else in. The track record for Julian Brisebois and the guys that they brought in via trade, outside of the Tanner Jeannot thing, has worked out pretty damn well. All right, we're here at Amalie Arena. John Cooper spoke a little bit earlier today after morning skate. A smaller group for media today. So a jovial John Cooper. What did he have to say about Luke Glendening, the advanced power play, and also the versatility of Nick Paul? That's one thing that I really needed to ask, because with a guy like Nick Paul, he can play forward. I mean, he can play wing, he can play center. But does that hurt his development, not staying in the same spot the entire time? Here's John Cooper after morning skate earlier today, right here at Amalie Arena.
Play for a second. We've used a lot of different looks, and it still remains one of the top handful or whatever. Are you happy to see that happen, all the different options maybe that you have?
Well, naturally, but liking what we're seeing now, having 2 righties in there, Bjorky, nice goal the other night, Pointer's getting more comfortable out there on the flank, and then being able to move them around. So, having a little less predictability, for us, I think it's a good thing, where, we got guys in different spots.
What is the importance of having a righty on that side, obviously at the circle, and then a righty in the bumper spot, Nikita? Like, what is the importance of that?
Well, it's always good to have one-timer options. And so just in that sense alone, you know, for a penalty kill, you know, defending somebody not a one-timer is a heck of a lot easier than defending somebody that is. And so, you know, we work our, you know, power play on, you know, we can do it on different sides, but I just think when you've got the shooter options all the way around, it's a little more dangerous.
For Bjork's stranded points are starting to stack up here a little bit. Can you sense, or do you feel like he's starting to really get assimilated here?
I think so. It's been, you know, it's different for these guys. Not only the different environment they're coming from, but the, you know, the system's different. And so, you know, especially the ones he's played in his career. And so it's definitely more growing pains for him than it was for, say, Gordo. But it's nice to see him on the sheet, because that's what, you know, makes guys obviously feel better. But he's done a ton of good things for us and been a good ad. So, you know, hopefully, you know, the points keep coming.
The versatility of Nick Paul, a guy who can put center, wing. How do you balance that out of like what's best for the team versus his overall development throughout his career?
Well, I think we are helping. It's all like coincides. It all works together. I mean, you know, Nick's been a valuable guy for us in various reasons, whether it's penalty kill, power play, center, wing, checking line. He's kind of been able, you can just put him anywhere, and so, you know, spend face-offs. So he's sometimes, you know, probably like a little bit more consistency, like where he's going to be all the time, but he fills a lot of holes for us. So it's, you know, I think where it works well for him and us.
With only a few games here left, it looks like you're kind of really set on what you want to do heading into game one or whatever it is. Are any of the guys in Syracuse ever a thought in your mind? I mean, you look at the success Connor Dickey's had for a while. Connor Sheary's had a really good year. We know you've seen Max Crozier. Like, do you think about those guys coming up here, or are they better suited, you know, for what Syracuse is going to do?
That's hard to say. Again, like, you know, you want your health, so that would probably dictate a few things. But I think it's, you know, you always got to look at it. What is going to put the Tampa Bay Lightning in the best situation to win, the best position to win? And if that is bringing some guys up from Syracuse, then so be it. But I think it's a little too early for that right now.
Luke Lendening tonight, how's he doing?
He's out tonight, so he's continuing to get evaluated. But I would suspect he'll, you know, hard to say if he'll come, you know, play in the regular season, just for the fact that, you know, we won't really need him to. So, you know, our hope is he'll be good for playoffs. We'll have to see.
Hey, Coach John Cooper there after morning skate today, and I think some of the biggest takeaways there were, first off, Luke Glendening not being in there, and you hear the music here, Rink of Dreams getting underway here at Amalie Arena, but Luke Glendening not being in the lineup tonight and for the foreseeable future does not bode well for the Lightning faceoffs, their penalty kill, and that fourth line that is just relentless with he and Zemgus Girgensons. We know that they're not going to go out there and score a ton of goals. That's not their role. Their role is to make it more difficult to play against, and we've seen that over the years. It's not about how many goals you put in; it's about how many you can keep out, how difficult you can be to play against come playoff time. So him not being in there, and I listen, Coop was pretty transparent about that too. For him to be able to tell us that he was going to be out and not sure if he's going to make it for the rest of the regular season, that's something to certainly be cognizant of going forward. I don't know. I think this opens it up. It opens it up for some of the other fours. I'm staring right at you, Mitchell Chafee. This is a guy that I didn't think made the most of his opportunity the other night when he was in there. He's got to be better. If he wants to get back in there and be in the lineup on a night in, night out, day in, day out basis, he's got to race to the level of a productive NHL player when he gets his name on the sheet. And Didn't really do it the other night, I didn't think. He's probably going to get another opportunity in there in the game tonight against Detroit. So you have to look at Gensel's back. He'll be back in the lineup. They welcomed the little one, so congratulations to the Gensel family. So you got to figure they're going to try to go 11-7 again. You're looking at, Point, Kucherov, Gensel, Hagel, Sorelli, Paul, Bjorkstrand, Gord, Gonsalves, and then your fourth line, your two forwards is going to be Mitchell Chafee and Zemgus Girgensons, it's looking like. So something to certainly be aware of going into the game tonight and then going forward. Look at Lady Evil in the house. Thank you, Lady Evil. We'll be at the game tonight in 206. I'll make sure if I say hello, if I run into you. Yes, please do. If you ever see me at any of these games, especially somebody like Lady Evil and Dave Terry and everybody, guys, come up and say hello. Come up and say hello. Just make sure you approach me easy. Somebody came up to me at the Valspar, and it was kind of like they were walking down, like almost on a little bit of a decline, and they came at me quick, and they were like, Jay, love your stuff, man. And I was like, oh, shit. Got me good. My mom and dad were like, whoa. I loved it, though. It's okay. It's fine. Come up, say hello, man. Let's talk some sports, even if it's just for a couple of seconds. I really do appreciate it. And I can't do this. I can't do the Jay Recher podcast without you guys. So I thoroughly grateful for Dave Terry, Lady Evil. Please keep adding the super chats there. But yes, if you see me, Lady Evil, come up and say hello. So yeah, it's a big opportunity for Mitchell Chafee tonight to be able to go in there and to do his thing. If Glenn Denning's out, he's hurt, because that is one of the toughest guys on the team. But Chafee opportunity, maybe Atkinson. Does Connor Geeky and Connor Sheary maybe look at this situation? Does this open the door for a guy like Isaac Howard? Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, but just be smart. Keep an eye out for everything that's going on. I want to play this again. This is what John Cooper had to say about Nick Paul. And I asked the question, and it seemed like when I asked the question at first, he was like, yeah, I don't know, but I want you to hear this when it comes to Nick Paul. Because one thing that I've long been told by people that have played this game for many, many years is that people want some semblance of familiarity. They want to know where they're going to be at all times. And like Point and Kucherov know where they're going to go, right? What's one of the biggest things that the Lightning do? They make sure that Victor Hedman has a partner. JJ Moser is that guy. They traded away Sergachev for him. But what about a guy like Nick Paul? Do you worry about his growth when you have to constantly move him from center to wing, second line, third line? If you missed it again, here's what John Cooper had to say about that.
The versatility of Nick Paul, a guy who can put center, wing. How do you balance that out of like what's best for the team versus his overall development throughout his career?
Well, I think we are helping. It's all like coincides. It all works together. I mean, Nick's been a valuable guy for us in various reasons, whether it's penalty kill, power play, center, wing, checking line. He's kind of been able to just put him anywhere, and so spend face-offs. So he's sometimes probably like a little bit more consistency, like where he's going to be all the time, but he fills a lot of holes for us. So it's I think where it works well for him and us.
I mean, I get it, Coop. I get it. It works well for you guys. Does it work well for Nick Paul? Right? He wants to be a little bit more consistent, right? In knowing where he's going to play. It's not part of the reason, and I get it. Like, I understand that this team playing the way it can play, a guy like Nick Paul is going to second line, third line, center, wing, 11-7. Guy, the combination is going to be crazy. That's how you keep the other team off balance, right? I understand that. But does that hurt your secondary scoring? Does that hurt when you look at Nick Paul, a guy that a couple of years ago scored 2 goals in third against the Toronto Maple Leafs in Game 7? Does it hurt guys like that? Does 11-7 hurt guys like Point and Kucherov? No, I think they're going to be good with anybody. Same thing with Gensel. Hagel and Sorelli are staying together. But what about those other 6 forwards? Does it hurt them that there's a lack of consistency, and especially a guy like Nick Paul, who does a lot of good things for this team, but like as Coop just said, he probably would like some more consistency. So if that's the case, how does that not affect his production? You guys get what I'm saying? Keep an eye on Nick Paul's production the rest of the regular season and in the postseason. And I think he's one of those guys where you can directly correlate how well Nick plays with how well this team is going to play. Another guy who's really been stepping his game up is Gage Gonsalves. And you can tell, and this could be another reason why you're not so quick to rush a guy like Isaac Howard up, because Gage has done really well in the AHL. He got sent down this year, comes back, and he's played so much better. Great passer of the puck. He's been even more and more aggressive. And I got a chance to talk with Gage today. Here's what he had to say about the game against Toronto, and also about kind of like his growth and, you know, getting closer and closer to the playoffs.
Gage, just talk to me about the importance of a game like tonight after you have such an emotional, OT loss to Toronto. You got to put it behind you, but just what's the focus tonight as you go into the game against Detroit?
Yeah, kind of just getting back to our kind of old ways of just kind of defending first and kind of protecting that middle. I think, we kind of got away from it at times. Toronto's a highly skilled, fast team, same with these guys. So I think if we can do that, hopefully we can kind of contain their offense a little bit.
When you guys play 11-7 like that, there's a lot of kind of mixing and matching in the forward group. What part of your game does it help kind of make that easy for you to kind of just jump right in and be successful?
Honestly, I think it's just the guys. Everybody knows our system so well, and a lot of guys have been here for a long time, so they know what the bar is every game. So, yeah, to be able to share the ice with whoever it is, it's a fun time out there, and I think it just builds chemistry. You never know what's going to happen down the road, so even to build a little bit with guys you don't really play with, like Gensel and Pointer and stuff like that, is definitely pretty huge.
Gage, getting ready for your first NHL playoff experience. Can you feel that energy kind of starting to build in the room? What's it like as you guys near the end of the regular season?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I think just kind of everybody's talking about building in the playoffs. Obviously, every game down the stretch here is huge. Still trying to get that first place spot and home ice, but it hasn't really hit me yet, but I think just trying to focus on each game and not look too far ahead for me, just to kind of keep my head on straight and keep my mentality kind of the same that's been going on the whole season.
Sure. I know it's not a team that's looking at the playoffs, but it's a division game tonight. What do you think is the biggest priority against Detroit?
I think it's probably just limiting their rushes. I think if we can do a good job of that, kind of destroy the puck in the end zone and not really giving any high ice turnovers, hopefully we can limit the grade A speed rushes.
Lightning beat writer Ben Pierce there with some of the questions there for Gage Gonsalves. And I'm with you, man. I'm with you. But he's another guy that's had these opportunities to, do his thing out there, because why? Versatility. Play on that second line, play on that third line, can put the puck in the back of the net at times. Probably a little bit more of a playmaker, playing a little bit more of a heavier game. So I'm all with it, man. I'm excited for Gage Gonsalves. I think he's just going to keep getting better and better and better. And I've been busting his chops because I spoke to him about a week ago, or probably a couple weeks ago now. Yeah, it was before the road trip. And it was around the McDonough 1000th game. And I went by and I was like, Radish, it's your 160th game. I said, Gage, it's your 52nd game or something like that. Tonight's a good night to score. And then he scored. So today I went over to Gage Gonsalves and said, hey, man, it is game 59 for you. It's time for a Gensel goal tonight. He said a Gensel goal, and I go, yeah, it's going to be short side. He's like, I'm 5-hole tonight. So watch Gage Gonsalves. If he scores a 5-hole goal tonight, I'm sure he's going to be grinning ear to ear. We'll take any kind of goal, but a Gensel goal on a night like tonight is pretty badass. All right, so Lightning in action tonight. I want to get to this real quick. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about Robbie Neilson at 12:30. But I want to show you this real quick. This is something from Pete Thamel. He's a guy that obviously is a college football senior writer for ESPN. Just check out this tweet from Tennessee quarterback Nico Iamaleava. All right. Now, this is what college sports has come to. Okay. Sources: Tennessee quarterback Nico Iamaleava did not attend Tennessee spring practice day. He's been in conversations with Tennessee about a new contract. The no-show of practice came as a surprise. Why is this a surprise to everybody else? Why is this a surprise to people that are like, I can't believe he's doing that? Why? Everybody wanted these dudes to get paid. And instead of making sure that there was a structure in place, that you didn't have guys just dipping into the transfer portal, and that there wasn't an NIL deal here and an NIL deal here and all over the place, right? Everybody was just like, just pay the guys. You'll worry about it later. Worry about the logistics later. Why is this such a surprise? I don't understand that. You didn't think this was going to happen? The news today that Nico Iamaleava is holding out from spring practice at Tennessee surprises you? The majority of the people that are bitching and moaning about this, you are the guys that said that they should pay the players. Now, do I think they should? Yes, I think they should get a cut. No doubt about it. But if you were of the mindset of just pay the guys and we'll figure it out later, this is the kind of shit that happens. What are you surprised about? You think this is the last time this is going to happen? That's not even the first. These kind of things are going to continue to happen. The NCAA, when it comes to stuff like this, is the wild, wild west. And if you're a player, go get the bag when you can. Hold out when you can. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee for you to be able to go to the next level and to be able to make that money. Injuries happen, especially in football. It's such a physical contest. I don't blame the kid. He's playing and operating within the parameters of what college athletics are all about right now. I mean, we see it with college basketball with the girls. They're staying in school because they know they're going to make more money there than they do in the WNBA. Do we really want that? Is that help for the WNBA? No, but what do these people care? Why would you care? Hey, go advance your career and play professionally, but go make less money. That doesn't make any sense. I always feel like you look at a situation like this and you take the sports out of it and you just put it in regular context of business. Would you make the same decision if it was just a business, if you weren't a college football player? I think the overwhelming majority of you would say yes. If you are a guy and you're looking around the SEC landscape and you're looking at how much you're getting paid compared to what other guys are getting paid, and you feel like you deserve more money, listen, and you know me, I hate the word deserve, but if you feel that way, whose right is it for people to say that's not the right thing to do? You know, when this started, it started years ago when guys started opting out of bowl games. Yeah, I'm making a business decision. People hated that Leonard Fournette didn't do it. And then Christian McCaffrey was like, all right, well, you know, you got to keep it in mind. He's going to be, it's different for him. It's all about business. It's about making money. We don't fault concert pianists. We don't fault artists and guys that aren't, affiliated with the NCAA for doing things like that. If I'm looking at this through the scope of how things used to be, I just think it's a wasted exercise. Why? Why do that? Michael Davis. Howard is on the Game Notes podcast right now. Can't believe JBB fumbled so bad with this kid. Think he would have looked. Why is he fumbled? I don't understand why he's fumbled. He's still under contract with the Lightning. And if he's going to be this type of guy anyway, why would you want a guy like that on your team? I don't quite understand that. Can you send me a post for that? Let me see the Game Notes podcast. Let me see. Right. Game Notes. There we go. Isaac Howard, Spittin' Chicklets, live right now. Oh, he is on right now. Wow. So this is interesting. Game Notes podcast, boots on the ground. I wonder what he is saying. He's joined the guys live in studio. So, wow. All right. We're going to have to wait for this to come down because obviously we can't listen to it right now as we're doing this. Interesting. We're going to break this down. It's an interesting flex, buddy. Tweeting this out real quick. We're going to keep this going for a second. Actually, thank you for giving me a heads up about that, buddy. Michael Davis. Good for you, buddy. Thank you very much. We're going to get into that in a second. I want to talk about Robbie Neilson real fast. This is the hard thing when you're doing this whole thing by yourself, guys. So just bear with me for a second. So, boom, boom. All right. So, real quick, before we get back to the Lightning talk, I want to address the Robbie Neilson situation, okay? So, again, for those of you just joining us, you want to hear from Lightning Hop, you want to hear about Isaac Howard, we're going to talk about that here in a second. But before we do that, let's address the elephant in the room when it comes to the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and that's Head coach Robbie Neilson being relieved of his duties this morning as coach of the Tampa Bay Rowdies, just the day before the Rowdies home opener tomorrow night at Al Lang. And we'll speak with Leo Fernandes at 1 o'clock today about the home opener and if we could possibly see him in the squad. He hasn't played yet this season. Steve Coleman, former first assistant with Loudoun United, who the Rowdies play tomorrow night. He's appointed as the interim head coach. Robbie had a 17, 17, and 8 record across all competitions with the Rowdies, and he finished 6th in the Eastern Conference. Just, it doesn't even sound right. 17, 17, and 8, 6th in the Eastern Conference. This is the Tampa Bay freaking Rowdies that we're talking about. This is a team that is continuously near or atop not just the Eastern Conference side of the table, but the entire league as a whole. They are battling for championships, doing whatever it takes to get that third star there atop of the crest. And I mean, I got to be honest with you. I haven't been thrilled with their play under Coach Robbie. And listen, this isn't personal. He's a great guy. Don't get me wrong. But too many times the last season plus, it felt like this team was content with just getting a result, just getting a draw, getting a point. That's not the Rowdies. The Rowdies play on the front foot. The Rowdies are a team that is going to be exciting as hell. When you go out there to Al Lang, you walk out of that place going, God, I can't wait to come back. Too kind of modest when it comes to their play. It hasn't been great. How many times, if you're a Rowdy supporter, how many times in the last year plus have you walked away from a game and you said, another draw, another disappointing performance? There's talent on this team, and you see it in spurts. But the fact that that was his record through 42 matches, I'm not surprised that they're moving on from him. If you know, you know. There's no reason to wait. If you're not getting the most out of some of these young players, I mean, you're bringing over some of these guys. You're bringing over Cammy. You're bringing over Ollie. You know, you're trying to usher a guy like Nate Worth, who we haven't seen that much of this year. Remember the incredible free kick for a goal that he had last season? I'm like, wow, this guy's going to be a big part of the future. 2025, watch out for Nate Worth. I mean, we really haven't seen him. Not playing a guy like Forrest Lasso. And I know, listen, he's probably on the backside of his career. He's probably, he wasn't 100% coming off the injury. That's fine. But that's a guy that needs to be on the field. Leo Fernandes, when he's healthy, needs to be on the field. Lewis Hilton, he needs to be on the field. Like the core guys for the Tampa Bay Rowdies need to be out there. We need to get back to seeing these guys playing at that elite level in the USL, where any single year they have an opportunity to win the championship. And it was very stagnant. And I've watched as many Rowdies games as anybody. And it wasn't the most entertaining brand of soccer/football. And I didn't see progression. You don't see guys getting better. You don't see them getting coached up. And again, it's not personal. But this is not the standard that the Tampa Bay Rowdies are used to. And the fact that they made this decision early on this season tells you all you need to know. This isn't something that just happened overnight. I'm sure that they didn't like how it went last season. You look at some of the numbers, how many games, I think it was 4 out of 20. That's not acceptable here. Maybe somewhere else where you're like, hey, we're just here to compete. No, there is a very, very high expectation when it comes to this club. And Robbie did not meet the standards. Not good enough. I went to a lot of games, man, a lot of drives over the bridge to be able to watch that team at Al Lang, and it was just like, I don't want to see, There's way too many talented guys on this team to be able to go out there and to perform at a high level and to be a team that is a force to be reckoned with in the USL. Now, this is a Rowdies decision, 100%. But I think it spoke volumes that Brian Auld was the guy that sent the message here. We know the Rays and the Rowdies and their relationship and how involved Brian Auld and Matt Silverman are. And again, I got to preface this by saying this is a Rowdies decision, no doubt. But the fact that Brian Auld was the guy that sent this message and not club president Ryan Helfrich, good pal of ours, that is a shot across the bow that the talent is here. And this level of play is not acceptable. I like that. Put your flag in the ground early on in this season. No, before things get a little bit too, wayward, let's right the ship and get things going back, moving in the right direction. Tomorrow night at Al Lang is a breath of fresh air for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and I am all for it. Sign me up. I'll be there. All the information, rowdysoccer.com. You want to see a team play with emotion and passion and energy, and hey, tomorrow night is a good opportunity for the Rowdies to show you what they're really made of. All right, hey, they got rid of your coach. Your levels have been very, very shoddy as compared to what we've seen from you guys in the past. You want to make a difference? You want to prove to everybody that you are a member of Tampa Bay? You want to go out there and get that third star above the crest? It starts tomorrow night at Al Lang. Two more things. One, and we'll talk to Leo Fernandes at 1 o'clock today, so we'll get his opinion on the entire scenario, on how they move forward from here, being part of that core four, that leadership group. Two things that stood out to me before we move back to the hockey stuff. One, I didn't really like that in the note that was sent out that they didn't thank Robbie for his time here with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. I thought that was something that probably could have been rectified. We thank Robbie for all he did. We wish him the best on his future endeavors. Like those little things, you may not think it is a big deal, but I had 2 or 3 people already reach out to me saying, damn, they didn't even thank the guy. I understand. And then also, maybe not this year, but Steve Coleman is an interim head coach. And I don't care what it takes. I don't care what kind of feathers you ruffle. But find a way to get Neil Collins back here. Find a way to get Neil Collins back as the head coach of the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Former player. He went back home across the pond. His family probably didn't lull. You're living in freaking St. Pete, and then you go and you live over there, and you go to Barnsley. Listen, no shots at Barnsley. I love my Premier League. I love my European soccer. But just think about it for his family's sake. He's out there. He's out west. We'll see him later on this year. But let's make this happen. Bring Neil home. Because he is the guy that's going to lead this team to the 3rd championship in Rowdies history. Sooner or later. All right, that's my 2 cents on that. I want to get back to what we were just talking about for the situation with Isaac Howard, speaking right now with the Spittin' Chicklets guys on the Game Notes podcast. This is definitely a bold move. And let's see what he had to say here. This is the...
But enough's enough. We got him here.
Let me see if there's anything. He just kind of...
Michigan State.
I don't think they really say anything so much about the Lightning yet. But the fact that he's putting himself out there, oh, man, his agent right now, you don't do that without conversing and consulting with your agent, going on a big pod like that and knowing what the situation is right now. Knowing how tenable the situation is or untenable the situation with the Lightning. Is this the smartest move for Isaac Howard? We'll see. But I'm sure the Tampa Bay Lightning are getting wind of this right now, and they're watching this with bated breath to figure out, what is this kid going to say? Is this guy going to say something that is going to hurt or harm the leverage, or does it have nothing, or it's just a harm, Okay, and Stephanie, you're the best. I watch a podcast. They never asked them about the Lightning. Stephanie, why don't you ever call into the show? Call into the show, Steph. I would love to hear from you. Okay? And if you don't know, here is the StreamYard link. I would love to hear from you, Steffi. All of our regulars and people that have never called in a video call, again, you could do it on your phone. You could do it on the laptop. But yeah, would love to hear from you. Michael Davis, they asked him at the very start. He said he didn't want to talk too much about it. Okay, thank you, Michael Davis, for that. All right, well, I think that's a positive thing. Thank you, Michael Davis, all over it, buddy. Let's give Michael Davis a clap and also subscribe to Michael, everything he's got going on. Mike, you're making the show a whole hell of a lot better. If you want to call in, Mike, you're more than welcome as well. use that link above the StreamYard link here. I'll put it again right here. Smart move, though. Smart move on his part, because, and here's the other thing. Do you think if Isaac Howard was really pissed, do you think if he got in an opportunity where he was like, screw it, I don't want to be a part of the Tampa Bay Lightning, do you think he would have kind of pled the fifth a little bit? Do you think he would have acted in that form or fashion in that scenario? I don't know. But I think he knows the deal. Listen, Isaac Howard, he's not a dumb kid. He may at times get bad advice, but don't we all? But he knows. He knows what the deal is here at Amalie Arena. He knows what this Tampa Bay Lightning team is all about. I'm sure he wants to be a part of a successful franchise and organization. So do you want to do anything to risk that? No, of course not. So good for him. Go out there, get some, FaceTime there and let everybody know where you're at. That's cool. No issues there. I like the fact that he didn't kind of speak out of his ass at all. And he was very honest, or I don't know if he was honest, I didn't watch it, but he didn't, go out there and make things worse. Because at the end of the day, we want him to be with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I'm sure the Bolts do too. But you have to understand that there's two sides of this thing. There's two sides. Stephanie's saying, I think he wants to play for us, but I also think he wants to finish his college career and win an NCAA championship and join us next year. I don't know, Steph. I don't know. Because I truly believe that once you get to the point of you want to be in the National Hockey League, I think it's tough to go all the way back. You go all the way back to camp and think you have unfinished business. Maybe, but you're this close. You are this close. And this isn't something that, once again, this isn't something that we just pulled out of our ass. This is something that Julien Brisebois himself mentioned to us during the fireside chats. It was a much more intricate conversation and I asked, and I wasn't trying to get into a situation. I asked Ed, I asked Eric, I said, am I making too much of this? Am I looking too deep into this? Am I saying, am I trying to imagine something that's not happening? They're like, no. He was a lot more forthcoming with the information about Isaac Howard and the conversation about Isaac Howard than I think a lot of people thought. So that is when you start thinking, all right, so what does this mean for the prospect of seeing this kid this year? Because after that day of speaking with Julien, this kid got better and better and better and better and just didn't stop. Hobie Baker finalist. He might win the damn thing. And then you see some of these other guys, the Ryan Leonards of the world and the Gabe Perreaults of the world. We're going to see Steve Bouillon up there as well eventually. Why not Isaac Howard, right? That's what we want to see. But we know that there's a salary cap issue here. We know that there is something else that factors into this entire equation. It's not just, do you like him or you don't like him? Do you want to pay him or do you not want to pay him? It's not about that. It's about fitting it into the salary cap and making sure that it's a fit, not just for now, but the future. And also you want to make sure that this kid is put in a position to succeed. You want to just drop him in there and think he's going to be successful. It's easy for me to say that because I have said that. Just drop him in there. Why not? Let's see, man, sink or swim. But Julien, that's not how most NHL GMs operate, right? You want to make sure you're putting this guy in a position to succeed. I do have a higher belief that he's going to be able to be productive. I think he can play on that second or third line. But I don't, there's no way in my right mind am I doubting the way that Julien Brisebois is handling this. Just not. Think about this to yourself. Don't get caught in what somebody's draft status was or what they did in college. It is a big jump to the pros. But if that is the way you're gonna handle yourself in contract situations, are those the type of people that you really want part of this organization? I'm not saying he is. I'm saying if he does go down that path, you almost make it easier for Julien. Because other people are going to take a chance and go, all right, we'll make the deal. The same exact thing happened in Jonathan Drouin. I remember sitting there in Brandon with him, talking to him, and he just seemed miserable. Miserable. I'm looking to my left, I see Steven Stamkos. I'm looking to my right, I see Victor Hedman. And I'm like, and Ben Bishop was there. And I'm like, there's so many good players in this locker room. And Jonathan Drouin, like, miserable. You don't want to be there. What were people saying? He fumbled the I can't believe Yzerman and Julien, and they fumbled the bag. What are they going to do with this kid? They're just yo-yoing him around. I can't believe they've done that. And they ended up trading him for Sergachev. And then what happened? Now look at Jonathan Jordyn. Listen, he's had himself a much better career than I think we thought when he was out of here. But now he's playing in Colorado. He's playing with his bud. He's playing in a very, structured environment for him. But he didn't live up to the draft status, has he? I haven't seen it. Have you? Kirill Sergachev is a two-time Stanley Cup champion, first-line defenseman for the Utah Hockey Club after doing really well here for the Bolts. So I'm not looking like anything when it comes to Julian Brisebois and thinking you messed this up. No, sirree, Bob. Not at all. All right. So here's the other thing from last night that I want to talk about. And make sure that I get the right video here. All right. So last night, make sure I show Coach the proper respect and the proper love. Okay.
All right, buddy. How do you sum up into words? Let me see the ball.
So last night over at King High School, we celebrated one of the most legendary high school baseball coaches in the Tampa Bay area and beyond. 50 years at King High School for the one and only Jim Macaluso. Coach Mac, as we so affectionately call him. And my goodness, just to see the outpouring of love and emotion for Coach Mac, incredible. I cannot believe that. I say I can't believe, but I can believe it because that's Tampa for you. That's King High for you. That's Coach Mac for you. I was so happy to see that many people there that early, right? I got there at like 6:15. I'm like, all right, I heard people were going to show up at 6:30. I didn't think there was, I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I didn't know how many players were going to be there. I didn't know how many dignitaries in the Tampa Bay area are going to be there. My God, what an incredible turnout. I think it was over 120 former players there, coaches from all over the place. That place was a zoo. It was packed. And first off, shout out to my guy, Jared Guthrie from 813preps.com. If you don't check out what my guy JG does, it is just top-notch, exemplary. And he's done features on the Macaluso family all week long, and it culminated last night with the celebration. Coach Mac has made such a profound impact on our area, especially right there in Temple Terrace. And he's always been so great to me. And I want you to watch the video. I posted this on social media. This is celebrating 50 years. And if you haven't seen the video, I'm going to show it for you here. This is celebrating 50 years of Coach Jim Macaluso. And look how many people were there in attendance. Check this out. Blood and work into what you guys see here today.
Made some good men out of those players. So he's an idol, an icon, a legend, and a friend.
Coach Mac, 1972 graduate of University of Tampa and 50 years of baseball in our county. Thank you so much for everything you've meant to King High School and to all of our county. Just teaching the game right, teaching these boys how to play it hard with pride. Proud of you, my friend. Congratulations.
Now, that's not out there in the garden already today, is
mentored so many guys. He's been here for so long, and he's had a lot of guys that I know that went on into the pros, to college. I mean, he's developed a lot of guys, and his time here is just special.
Whether it's news media, principals.
major impact in the community. Great person, great coach. Just crazy to think that he's already been here for 50 years, and the community's definitely going to miss him.
Jimmy actually took me to my first national clinic in 1987, and I slept on him and Frank's hotel room floor.
He's a legend here. All the years, all the adventures, all the times we competed. It's really been a joy.
An absolute legend, Coach Jim Macaluso, and to see the great Tony Saladino there, 89 years young, and Joe Urso and Pop Cuesta and John Crumley there. Just some of the these are the guys, man. These are the guys that have laid down the framework for so many baseball players here in the Tampa Bay area. Great to see Nelson North, Gaither High School, our buddy Brady's dad. KB Skull, longtime head coach of Bloomingdale, was out there. Mayors and superintendents and athletic directors and teachers and students. You see Wild Bill up in there as well. Jamarcus Lyons, Raf Quintana, a couple of guys I've known for a very long time. Insane, man. Just incredible to be able to see that outpouring of love and affection for Coach Mac. That is how you know you made an impact. And I say it all the time, and I always butcher the saying, but it's not just about your life. It's about how your life impacts others. And you could argue that, there are very few people when it comes to baseball in the Tampa Bay area that have impacted more lives than Coach Macaluso. And I want to play for you the one-on-one that we had last night, just me and Coach Mac. And again, I've known Coach Mac for almost 15 years now, and he's always a guy that's, he's come over to me. He's always kept an eye on everything that I've done when I went from coaching and when I went to, into radio. And here's just a nice moment that we had last night. Just me and the legend, Coach Jim Macaluso. All right, buddy. How do you sum up into words? Let me see the ball first. Let's see the ball.
Game ball.
How do you sum up into words what happened today? Not even just the game, but before, during, and after.
Coach, I don't know if I can really put it into words. At 5 o'clock, players started getting here prepared from the past, and it was a warm feeling. You just feel appreciative, and telling myself maybe you did a few things right along the road. To see the turnout and guys giving you a hug, say, "Hey, I love you, Coach," or bringing back a time that I closed the door and got on their butt, and they're saying, "You remember that when I talked to you that you helped me with this, that, or the other," because I always try to get involved in their lives other than baseball, and I've enjoyed that anyway. So if you help kids a little bit along the way, that's all good stuff. I wish I had a better answer.
Perfect
I
answer.
appreciate it. I appreciate you and everything you've done. I'm proud of you and your career.
I mean, the fact that a guy says he's proud of me on a night like that, I coach high school baseball. I coach baseball. I coach high school baseball, and I actually coached for King High School in the St. Leo tournament many, many years ago with my buddy Tag. Back in the day, the winter tournament was at St. Leo, and your regular coaching staff couldn't coach. You had to bring in whether it was dads or outside coaches. They didn't want any of that crossover. So I actually ended up coaching that tournament with Tag at King, for King, before I ever coached at Freedom High School. And then I coached against Coach Mac. We both coached third. I coached third for Freedom. He coached third for King. And he was a crazy son of a bitch. It was just nuts, man. He was so freaking fun. But we always got along really well. And he knew me from that time of, and I had a lot of friends that went to King. So we always had a really special bond. And then when Pop Cuesta and the late, great Frank Bermui, the longtime coach of Gaither, who you heard John Crumley mentioned there, I wish Coach Frank was still with us. But I remember being at Jefferson High School one time, and Coach Bob Cuesta and Frank Premier just walked a little closer, and he goes, "Hey, you going to cover high school baseball?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you're at the radio station now. You're going to cover high school baseball?" I said, "See what I can do, what I can." And then for a while there, I did the 620 WDAE high school scoreboard. Every night I stayed up until 2, 3 in the morning, making sure that I got every single score out there and put it up on the website to make sure that every one of these kids could get that love and attention and admiration. And then really our guy, Jared Guthrie, 813 Preps, really, we kind of worked together a little bit and did our own thing. And then Jared just took off, man. He's just done such a great job. There's nobody covers prep sports like Jared. But I remember covering a game at Hillsborough High School with King. And he was just so happy. He literally walked out of the dugout and came. He met me halfway. And then the game was about to start. He's like, "Jay, I got to go. I got to coach a game." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, shit, you got to go." And I have a picture on my social media that I post every once in a while. There's a picture after Coach Mac won Saladino years ago at Brandon High School. And it was with me, Pop Cuesta, with Coach Mac and Coach Frank. And it's one of my most prized possessions. It's one of those things that I hold near and dear to my heart. So yeah, a lot of love for Coach Mac and King High School, and to everybody that was there last night. Thank you. That is what being part of Team Tampa Bay is all about. It's not just the pro teams. It's not just the college teams. Very special night, and I'm so glad that I was a part of it. Congratulations to Coach Mac. 50 years. My goodness, that is nuts. He's been coaching high school baseball longer than I've been alive. District start on Monday at Jefferson. Coach Mac, I'll see you out there, buddy. Let me make sure I get the proper link here. Right. Having some issues with the link for Leo. Make sure that I give him the right one because we want him on the program today for sure. I know I was going to talk some Rays baseball here. Anybody have any idea when the Rays are going to be good? Anybody? It's tough because that's the thing. I'm around a lot of baseball, even if I'm not technically at the Rays games. And everybody comes up and asks about the Rays, man. Everybody. And you know how many people there at the game last night have not been to a game yet? There's no urgency to go. It's just weird, man. It's just a weird whole thing with this team. Maybe when he sells. Raph, you just said that? Oh, my God, that's funny that you just said that. Shout out to Raph, who was part of the video last night. I mean, you hate to say it, man, but that's just kind of the nature of the beast. People are not thrilled about the situation with the Rays. Diehard baseball people that are here, people that were there last night. You know how many ex-major leaguers and coaches and front office people and just people that have been around the game their entire lives were there last night at Coach Mac's thing? A lot. You know where they weren't? They weren't at Steinbrenner Field. I mean, it's something that it has to change, man. That's one of the things that really has to change when it comes to the just fixing my tie there. Something that really has to fix when it comes to the Rays is that relationship with the community. I know some people will say, well, they do this and they do this. Well, if they win, they should show up. It's not like that. At what point do we realize that something has to change? At what point does the viewpoint need to change? You know, it was like coaching all these years, you know. You can't get mad at the kid for not listening. It's up to you as the coach, you as the adult, you as the teacher to change how you're disseminating that message. Same thing for the Rays. Last night, or yesterday afternoon, 11-1 loss. They got run ruled. 5-7, fourth in the AL East. Another 0-for-3 performance from Yandy Diaz. Good to see 3-for-4 from Junior Caminero, but Christopher Morel 0-for-4 with 3 ponchas. Yeah, I mean, still no hits on the season for Ben Rortvedt. Yikes. And now, as we look forward, is it going to get better? What were you told in the beginning of the season when it came to the Rays? What were you told? You were told that they're going to be good early. Why? Because all the home games and the first 2 series against the Rockies and the Pirates, right? and now look at them. I mean, what now? What can you really say when you look at this team? Danny Jansen is batting .071. Ben Rortvedt is batting 0. For far too long, we have gotten into the habit of just believing that these players that are so good defensively, that it's okay that they can't hit their own weight. I mean, Ben Rortvedt is 0 for 11. Danny Jansen is 1 for 26. Those guys are a combined 1 for 37. No bueno, man. No bueno. There are a lot of good players out there that can pick it behind the plate that don't hit. 0. Got to be better. Got to make an adjustment. All right, let's bring him in. He's in the Hall of Fame of guests when it comes to the Jay Recher podcast. Our good pal, Leo Fernandes, Rowdies star. What's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry, we got it. We're all on. I messed up the link, I think, sending it to Gabby, but we're good.
No,
now.
no worries. No worries. I'm here now.
Yeah, you're always here, my friend. I'm so glad, and good to see you the other day at training. First off, how's the family, wife and kids? I mean, your little one's getting bigger, bro. It's wow. I don't know what you're feeding him in the Fernandes house.
Family's all good. Yeah, I know. Every time I don't see him for a couple of days, he gets a lot taller. So I don't know. Hopefully he keeps growing and he'll just be in the NBA. You know.
Is he like basketball?
He does. I already made him to a Knicks fan. So he's good.
You're a smart man, but you're also torturing your son because that's
he's
what I've been going through.
He's got to go through what I went through.
That's right. Who else did you like growing up? What other teams?
In basketball, it was always the Knicks, really. And then it's funny because my middle brother, he was a Nets fan, so it was a bit of a rivalry there. And then in other sports, like I like the Yankees growing up, but not anymore, obviously. And then Giants because that's my wife's team that they support.
Jeez. I knew you picked smart, man. You're a smart guy, man. Emma's a winner for sure. Wait, you said your brother, right? What is your brother up to right now?
Well, the youngest one, he's currently playing in Naples right now.
That's where we're going. So your little brother plays for FC Naples, who you guys will be playing Wednesday night in the Open Cup third round, April 16th, 7 p.m., Paramount Plus, CBS Sports, Golazo, down there at the Paradise Coast Sports Complex. FC Naples, Tampa Bay Rowdies. Take us through that, buddy. Take us through finding out that news. Who's texted who first? Where's the smack talk start and end with the Fernandes brothers? Let us know. We want to hear it all.
So yeah, funny enough, I think because last year he played for Chattanooga, and if they would have beat Birmingham, we would have played each other. So that didn't end up happening. And then this year, he is playing for Naples, which is the league under us. We're lucky enough to get drawn into the same match, and it's so funny because before the draw came out, he was actually the first one to text in the family group chat saying we want Tampa. And I'm like, are you sure about that? You sure?
Oh man.
So yeah, I mean, it's honestly for us, it's like a dream come true. We used to play against each other in the backyard, like 1v1s and 2v2s because there's 4 of us. So I think it's just going to be special for our family. It's funny, we were planning the whole family to get together to watch the July 4th game because we were in the Jägermeister Cup together. So we're happy that it's happening a little bit earlier than expected.
Wow, man. So what position does he play?
He's a center back, so he's going to be up against me.
Wow. So what is that battle like? Have you guys played against each other before?
Never in the pros and I mean just like pickup games in the off season.
So what is that going to be like, man? Going up against your brother. What is it going to be like for your family watching that game? Who the heck do they cheer for?
They cheer for me, of course. No, no, I'm just kidding. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. I mean, I told them I'm like, you just keep your legs closed because I'm going for the Meg and then the goal. So,
bro, if you nutmeg your brother and then put him on SportsCenter top 10, oh my gosh!
I honestly think he would if I megged him, he would probably throw an elbow and then get a red card.
There you go, man. That's the insult to injury or injury to insult. I mean, my goodness. But I can't wait. That's going to be awesome. How are you feeling? I know there's maybe a possibility you could be in the squad. It sucks not seeing you out there, buddy. You know how I feel about you as a player and as a friend. How are we feeling? Is there any chance, do we know, we could possibly be in the squad for tomorrow night?
No, I'm feeling great. I've got a lot of weeks now that I'm back training, feeling confident again, and I think I'll be in the squad. Not 100% sure yet. Obviously, it's still fresh, but I think I should be good to go and get some minutes tomorrow.
That'd be great, man. I mean, you're such a huge part of this team, and not just on the field, but off the field as well, and the leadership core. And what is it like to have Forrest back there, man? I mean, he obviously, to see him, he was all around the team last year, but to see him back out on the training ground and see him back out there in the pitch with the fellas, he's such an imposing presence. What is it like to have him back out there?
Yeah, it's massive. I think we know we've missed Forrest since he's been down, and I think just having him back in the locker room training and then being ready to play it's going to be massive for us when he does step on the field. And I think it's something that we need. We need that energy. We need to bring the spirits up. And Forrest, besides winning all the headers in the air, he really brightens up the group and motivates us to do our best.
Yeah, no doubt. And listen, a lot of eyes are going to be on you guys going into tomorrow night because of Val Lang, but also because of the news that came out today. And I know you can't really give me a ton of details because this is above your pay grade, but my pay grade too, my friend. But when you hear the news that Coach Robbie Neilson gets let go and, you're going in a different direction here, what's kind of the focus for you as one of the senior players to kind of keep the guys, I don't want to say together because I wouldn't say it's fragmented, the locker room, and it's still early on in the season, but what's the message within the group, not just today at training, but also going into this home opener tomorrow night, knowing that, I said this before, it's going to be a breath of fresh air for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. So how do you attack that as one of the leaders on this team?
Yeah, I think, it's tough. It's a tough situation. You never want to see anybody get let go, but I think I've been playing for so long now. It's just part of the game, right? It just happens everywhere. And I thank him for everything that he did for me and my family. But in terms of the game, I think, like you said, it's a blank slate for everybody. And we're back home, and that's the main message. We haven't been home in so long. We're so excited to be there and play in front of our fans and family. I think we're going to be excited. The fans are going to be excited, and it's just going to be hopefully a memorable night.
And I think about it like that in the situation of when there is a transition, sometimes you need something where it just kind of turns the page. So that could be the ultimate turn the page, and even just kind of an opening of a new book of this team going forward. You've played so many games there at Al Lang, and I've been to a ton of them. What is it going to be like tomorrow night to finally be able to go back out there? We know what happened with both of the storms and you guys playing on the road and just being displaced and just seeing how our entire community looked after Milton and Helene. What is it going to be like? Can you try to put into words what that emotion is going to be like when you step back on the grass at Al Lang tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think for me, it's just we're finally back home. It's finally, after all these months, after all these tough times, and playing away, playing in different venues, we're going to be there in somewhere that we're familiar with, that we've won so many games in, that we've made it so difficult for other teams to come in and beat us. And I think that's the main message within the group, is to make sure that we enjoy the moment. We don't take it for granted, and just make sure that we make the fans and the community proud.
It's funny too. People ask me about Al Lang, and you have the opportunity to go out there on the pitch, for the fireworks and all those great things. But you and I have been out there with the kids, right? The kids have been out there playing. So it's so, I don't mean to over dramatize it, but it's just, it's part of our community. You know what I mean? It's not just where the Rowdies play. It's this is where soccer's played in St. Pete. So to be able to be back on the grass like that, and what does that mean? And also, what does that mean to be able to that's your home field, that's your home turf when you guys are playing your games?
Yeah, I think you said it right. I this week especially, and last week, I've gotten so many texts from just people that know me and for a while and just gone to so many games. They're like, I can't believe we have a home game this week, and we're so excited to be coming and watching you guys play again. And yeah, it's just been so long, and we've been through so much, the city of Tampa, and finally to go this week and train on the pitch and just be on the grass is just like a breath of fresh air. And looking at how Lang is doing, it's recovering, it's feeling good. It's kind of like us, like we're gonna be ready to go, and we're gonna be excited to step on the grass.
Rowdies hosting Loudoun United FC. Kickoff 7:30. Broadcast locally on Tampa Bay 44. Available on ESPN Plus as well. Go get your tickets. RowdySoccer.com/tickets to celebrate the 50th anniversary. I gotta ask you about these 50th anniversary kits. I don't know if you saw my unboxing video. Badass, bro. You know me. I love me a good soccer jersey, a good soccer kit. When you first saw them, because you're right on the freaking front of the website there too. When you saw those, man, I mean, what did you think? Because those things are sharp.
I like them. I really like them, especially the white one. It's something different. We usually don't wear white at home, and for me, I think they just fit. They fit really well, to the body. Years past, I feel like sometimes they got a little bit sticky or they were a little bit too baggy, and I think this one is perfect for us and what we're trying to do this year. And yeah, I've gotten so many texts of me wanting my jersey, and I'm saying like, hey, like I need to keep some too, So no, it's nice.
You got to go check it out, everybody, because now you can have in-store jersey customization for the 50th anniversary kits. All the stuff. There's some new elements. The midfield club, new relocation of the Bay Republic team store as well. The team store 10 to 5 on Monday through Friday. Saturday non-game day hours 10 to 4. But all the information there at rowdysoccer.com. Expanded team store is going to open at 6:30 when the gates open. All that information rowdysoccer.com. When you go through a situation like you've been through, where you battle back from injuries and then you don't start this season because you're just not 100%, like. How do you stay so mentally tough, man? I don't know. I see these athletes and they battle back. And I remember when you got hurt, I remember breaking the news that you were coming back. Like, what is that like, man? The ups and downs of dealing with injury. It's one thing if you don't play well, right? I had this conversation with our buddy Ian the other day. It's one thing when you don't play well, or you have this success throughout your career. You get to a certain level and you're just like, I'm just not as good as half these guys. Bro, you were the MVP of the league, right? And then how do you stay so mentally tough? Do you attribute that to your lovely wife and your family? Is it personal, like internal? Like, how do you still have such a smile on your face? Because, bro, when I see you, you always seem like you have a great day. How do you do that, man? Because you've had your downs, because of your health, but you just seem to keep on trucking.
Yeah, I mean, you can give a large part of that to my family, 100%. I think I'm very blessed in life, so I always look at it glass half full. And then I think what really helped me was last year, towards the end of the year, I did feel like I was getting back some form, scoring some goals, getting some assists, and those last couple of weeks, getting the starts again, really gave me a good confidence boost that, hey, like I can still do this, I can still produce at a high level if I'm on the field. And then hopefully this year I can turn the corner and just stay available, and then get the fitness back and just show everybody and prove to everybody that I'm still that same player. And to be honest, whenever I am on the pitch or in training and in these preseason games, I still felt like I was who I am, and that's the person that's going to affect the game either in the goal or assist or even do the dirty work. So I think it's still very early in the season, and hopefully tomorrow I get to show something to the fans that's still there.
For sure, man. Where do you think your best position is? And has that changed as you've gotten older? And obviously, like, things happen when you get older. We always talk about how, like, physically you're never as good as you were like in your earlier 20s, but your mental, like, sometimes that ascension is even more of a steep climb, because you learn so much and you learn when to pick your spots, right? So even though you may drop down a little bit physically, mentally you get so, up there as far as seeing the game and moving the ball and just knowing when to kind of push and pull. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, 100% agree. I think as you get older, the game kind of slows down a bit for you, and you get to pick your moments, and you're not running 100 miles an hour the whole entire game. And I think that's a game plan with me, right? I want to put myself in a position where I can affect the team the best. And I think that's in and around the box, being creative, showing my flair, beating defenders 1v1, and then either getting the goal or getting the assist. So yeah, to answer your question, I think my favorite position is probably like a number 10 attacking midfield role. I still like to be out on the wing, crossing the ball. So yeah, those two positions, and honestly, just being on the field, that's the most important thing, and helping the team win.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Especially, dealing with some injuries. You're like, man, I don't care where you put me out there.
Keeper, man.
Put me at keeper. We will make it work. Leo Fernandes, Tampa Bay Rowdies stud. Make sure you follow him on all social media platforms, and make sure you're following our Tampa Bay Rowdies. Go to rowdysoccer.com for all the information about the tickets, about the kits. So many people have already reached out. Where can I get me one of those? Well, go to rowdysoccer.com. Go to Al Lang, and they'll take care of it for you. Get your own personalized kit, and we'll be rocking the green and gold wherever we may be on either side of the bay. Leo, always great to catch up with you, buddy. I'll be over at Al Lang tomorrow afternoon. We'll catch up, and good luck the rest of the season, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, pal. The one and only Leo Fernandes, one of the great players that we've seen here in the Tampa Bay area the last 2 decades. And, every single year I do my, top 20 sports stars at Tampa Bay. And I don't know. I think he may have been the only player for the Rowdies to ever make the list. I mean, MVP of the league. That's legit, man. Legit. He's just got something. There's just a finesse to his game. And usually people sometimes say finesse like it's a bad thing. I don't know. I don't say it. When I say it, I don't say it like that when it comes to Leo, man. He's got such a guile on the pitch. He just knows where to go. Passing, he's slick as hell. I can't wait for him to be out there on a full-time basis. I want him to start. Get him out there. Probably not going to start tomorrow, but if we can get him back, within the group and have him maybe come off the bench for 15, because that's what teams do in soccer/football. They don't just run a guy back out there. Go play 90. You'll start him slow, 15, 45, and then maybe a full 90. Yeah, I can't wait, man. Super, super excited about all that. Let's give you an update on the Masters going on right now in Augusta. We haven't spoken about that quite yet today. Justin Rose still in first. He is 8 under. He shot 1 and he's still going right now. So Justin Rose in first place so far today after a 65 yesterday. Unbelievable. 7 under 65 in round 1 for Justin Rose, the Brit. He's 8 under today after being 1 under through 15. There's Bryson DeChambeau, 1 shot behind. He's 4 under today through 10. Shot a 69 yesterday. You have Matt McCarty and Sungjae Im tied for third at 6 under. Corey Connors, the Canadian, at 5 under. Ludwig Goldberg. Shane Lowry, Scotty Scheffler at 4 under, and then Rasmus Højgaard, Rory McIlroy, Davis Riley, Sahith. They got a bunch of guys at 3 under. Where is my guy, John Rahm? Still looking. Matt Dunlap, 18 over. Rough. Rahm's pretty low, I'm pretty sure. Where's he at? Well, Mickelson's 3 over. He's above. He's at 2 over. Okay. So he shot a 1 under today so far after shooting a 3 over 75. He's 1 under through 9 on the day, 2 over just outside the cut line. The projected cut is 1 over. And listen to some of these names at 2 and 3 over. At 2 over right now, again, the cut line is at 1 over, and we're still looking at Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, and Tom Kim yet to tee off in about 15 minutes or 10 or 15 minutes or so. But you have Koepka at 2 over, Rahm at 2 over, Mike Weir, Zach Johnson, Bernard Langer, Will Zalatoris, Byung-Hoon An, who we saw at the Valspar, Keegan Bradley, J.J. Spawn, Phil Mickelson, and Tony Finau at 3 over. So, wow, there's going to be some moving and shaking. Freddie Couples, even par. What an eagle he had yesterday. And Akshay Bhatia, we interviewed a couple of years ago. He's also at even par. Joaquin Neiman and Mav McNeely to tee off as well. So, John Rahm, and I saw this, I think it was from, was it Scott Van Pelt or Trey Wingo? I think it was Trey Wingo yesterday, speaking about how, and I'll pull up the tweet for you because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm referring to. We know what Trey Wingo has been able to do over the years for ESPN. Okay, here we go. I want you guys to see this because it's got 1.5 million views, and he is spot on. And that is why the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Jon Rahm was literally at the peak of his career before he took the money and ran to live. That move, while making him rich beyond his wildest dreams, has absolutely cratered his career and chances to compete in majors. And you see Booger McFarland there below, hard to turn down $200 million. Trey saying, nobody's saying it isn't, but Rahm's own statements before the jump said what he played golf for, and it wasn't money. They're easy to find. And I'm with you. And out of all of the people that decided to make the jump from the PGA Tour to LIV Tour, the one guy that was visibly shaken, that really had issues with it, was Jon Rahm. And you could believe it or not, but why would you lie about something like that? Why would you lie about it being a difficult and look so just shaken up about it? And his play has shown that. His play has shown. It's probably stupid for me to pick him then if that's the case, but he was really wrestling with the decision. He loved the PGA Tour. He wasn't one of the guys that jumped ship right off the rip, but he looked at the life-changing money that he and his family was going to have, that generational wealth. Again, we go back to the conversation that we had the other, last hour about college football. Everybody could sit all high and mighty and have these altruistic type of beliefs and look down your nose. I would never do that. Look at where that money has come from. Man, if you're making $50,000 a year and you're struggling keeping food on the table and a roof over your heads, and somebody comes by and says, hey, we're going to give you this large amount of money, you may not like where it came from, but hey, this is money that is not just going to change your life, but the life of your children's children. There's a lot of people out there that are going to say yes, an overwhelming majority that are going to say, okay, give me that money. Am I directly hurting somebody? Do I have to hurt somebody for the money myself? No, you just got to go out there and play golf. And come on, how many people are going to say no to that? Jon Rahm wrestled with that idea, and it is an ironic view of the entire situation. And Trey Wingo is spot on, because I remember listening to Jon Rahm, and I have a really good bullshit meter. I really do. I can kind of tell. It's the same. You know who I smelled from a mile away? Rafael Palmeiro, when he was sitting there. And I turned to my dad, I go, I don't think he's telling the truth. Now look, right? There's just a lot of situations like that where you look at professional athletes or coaches and front office members and you go, I'm not really buying what he's selling. A lot of times it's the other side where they try to convince you something is okay when it's not. Jon Rahm was pretty transparent and open that he had some issues with this, but he was faced with an almost impossible decision. I'm one of the best players in the world. They're giving me this guaranteed money. It's going to change how my life and my family's life is going to be forever, for as long as I'm on this earth. How do I turn this down? Other people have done it. You felt that. You felt that situation with Jon Rahm, and now we see where he's at. And his play has certainly suffered, whether you think it's a direct correlation of the mentality of the situation or not. It's the reality of it. He's not playing as well as he once was, and now he has to also live with not playing on the PGA Tour and playing in a lot of these tournaments where people were showing him a ton of love and admiration, and he got used to playing in these tournaments. It's just the same. People don't look at guys on the LIV Tour the same, and it's just a different brand of golf. It's more of a niche thing rather than you see it with the Valspar. There's something about tradition. There's something about going there. I know, going with my family, going with my parents. There's something about that when it comes to American sports, when it comes to the PGA, when it comes to MLB, when it comes to these sports that have been around for such a long time, and it's got those roots here in the United States. When you leave that, you may not realize it until you leave that. Damn, man, it's different. It's different. So now Jon Rahm is where he is, and I don't feel bad for him, but I just think it's interesting to point out how the situation has changed over the years. All right. Let's talk about UFC 314, Alex Volkanovski, Diego Lopez, almost identical records. They're fighting for the featherweight title there at 145 pounds, and Volk at 26-4. Listen, this isn't the same Alexander Volkanovski that we've seen in years past. It's just not. the losses to Makachev has really put a dent into his armor. I mean, this is a guy that he beat Max Holloway, right? And we remember the big knockout Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje. So Volk's not the same guy. And Diego Lopez was a 30-year-old. He reminds me a lot of Charles Oliveira. Comes bursting onto the scene. You look at this kid. He looks like $1 million. He looks like a guy that could be a future world champion. And then you look at his, how he fared, and you go, I don't know if it's ever going to work out. And now at 30, he has an opportunity to do something like this that's going to change his life forever. You win this championship, people are going to look at you completely different. We know that. We know that that's the way it works when it comes to the fight game. You win a championship, man, and especially in this type of fashion, when you're going up against a guy like Alexander Volkanovski, a future Hall of Famer, this is huge. I'm going to probably lean towards Diego in this one. I mean, with Volk, we know that there's so many things that he can do so many different ways. He's even though he's a quote-unquote orthodox fighter, he is an unorthodox fighter. But he's 36 years young. Getting the lights turned off is not something that you want to see in your mid-30s. I'm going to go with Diego Lopez on this one to secure the crown. In the co-main event there at UFC 314 down there in Miami, the co-main, Michael Chandler, Paddy Pimblett. I truly believe that this is a completely different level of competition. No disrespect to Paddy, and I know the last fight was fantastic for him. When people are like, there's no way you're going to win this fight, and he goes out and he's able to win against a very, very tough competitor in Bobby King Green. Subbed him out in the first. He beats past his prime Tony Ferguson, no doubt. It's going to be a slugfest, I would think. But we're looking at Michael Chandler. This is one of the best fighters in the world. This is the guy that was going to fight freaking Conor McGregor. I think there's times in MMA, you see it in boxing, but you see it in MMA. And I know he's coming off of the loss to Charles Oliveira, but it's, last November. Before that, he fought 2 years before he lost via the sub for Dustin Poirier. And I know the record, when you look at 23-9, doesn't look great, but you look at the guys he's fought. Oliveira, Gaethje, he beat Ferguson as well, Poirier and Oliveira. I just think this is a level up in competition for Paddy Pimblett that I just don't think he's ready for. I don't think that this is the same at all. So I'm gonna go with Michael Chandler in that one. Let's see who else is on the card. I'm trying to make sure that I get to all of them before Jordyn Listro joins us. Yair Rodriguez against Patricio Pitbull. Look at that. Patricio Pitbull here, longtime fighter over in other organizations, whether it was Bellator. God, this is such a good fight too. And different styles, right? Because we know Pitbull, you better fight like a Pitbull if you're 5'5" and that's your nickname. And we know Yair Rodriguez, the height advantage for many, many years, the kickboxing that he can bring to the table, 32, 37 when it comes to the ages. I like that we're seeing Patricio Pitbull. I wish it was earlier on in his career, so we didn't have all those years, in Bellator, his last fight coming last March. Yeah, but it's better late than never. So many different incredible matchups for him and Michael Chandler and Eddie Alvarez over the years. Glad that he's here in the UFC, and we'll see how he fares against Yair Rodriguez. Does he try to take this to the ground, or does he stand and bang, giving up 6 inches? We'll talk more about some of the other fights a little bit later on. I want to get to something that I didn't mention when it comes to the Rays and what they need today going against the Braves. 7:05 start there at Steinbrenner Field. Taj Bradley 1-0 with a 4.91 ERA. Elder 0-0 with a 6.75. The pitching and defense is going to have to carry this team for the weekend, because offensively, the struggle bus 500 that they're driving right now, it's not enough. It's not enough. And for a team that has prided itself on pitching and defense the last couple of years, they need to show up in a big way here, or they're going to struggle this entire season, because this was supposed to be quote unquote the easy part of their schedule, and it has not worked out like that. So for the Rays, if they want to turn it around, and I know you're going up against a Atlanta Braves team where the record isn't what we thought it was going to be, but they've won a couple. It's got to be better. And sometimes you raise your level against competition that is supposed to be quote unquote better than you on paper. This is an opportunity for them this weekend to be able to do so. And if they do that, maybe we're having a different conversation on Monday rather than just kind of the same old, like, here we go again. The pitching and defense held it down while they could, but unfortunately, offensively, they weren't able to come to the table and do the job. So we'll keep an eye on that. 3-game set against the Atlanta Braves this weekend there at Steinbrenner Field for our Tampa Bay Rays. Hopefully, they get back to their winning ways. Speaking of winning ways, we bring in a real winner to the program, our good friend Jordyn Listro from the Tampa BaySun. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well here at Amalie Arena. Have you been to a Lightning game before?
Of course, especially when you play the Leafs.
So how does that go for you? Leafs and Lightning, that's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up a Leafs fan, so Lightning's my second favorite.
You're not apologizing for that one bit, are you? Miss Canada over here. So how are things? What's training like been like this week for you guys there with the Tampa BaySun? I mean, Friday is always such an interesting day, just right before the weekend. So just tell me about training this week. What's it been like?
Yeah, I mean, we have good momentum from our last win. So it's been a fun week of training, just kind of focusing on ourselves and things that we can improve on from our last game and then the last game that we actually played Lexington. So yeah, it's been a great week and we're ready to go tomorrow.
Getting closer and closer to the postseason with the Sun. I mean, it's just so crazy. How do you guys focus on keeping it one game at a time, one day at a time, knowing that, like, all right, hey, we got to make sure that we put ourselves in a position so that we can go on a run here at the end of the year?
Yeah, I think every game's a must win right now. We want to put ourselves in the best position possible and one where we don't have to rely on other teams to get results. That will help us. So yeah, each week we're just focused on those 3 points and how to, play our best and individually perform. So
yeah, it's funny because soccer, I was having this conversation with somebody this morning, actually, because the mindset when it comes to soccer/football is that it's so much more process driven over the result, right? Because sometimes you play your butt off the entire game and it's 1-0, or sometimes it's nothing, it's 0-0 and it's, all right, hey, we didn't play that bad of a game. So it's hard to really use goals as a direct indicator if you played well or not. How do you make sure that you stay in that mindset of, hey, even though we just hey, a result, but you're trying to win, right? You want to make sure that you get the 3 points, especially at this time of season. So how does that mindset, because you don't want to cheat the game either, right? You don't want to all right, we want to get way out in front, get yourself so expansive that people get in behind you and they score goals. So how do you kind of balance that out with making sure that, yes, you want to say process over result driven, but knowing that the end of the game, you got to score goals?
Yeah, I think our main focus right now is just getting a clean sheet, getting that shutout.
Right.
We've had games where we can come back and score 2 goals and end up tying the game. But if we have a clean sheet, I mean, that's what's going to get us the results that we need. So that's been our main focus, is just tightening up on set pieces and, making sure in the run of play that we're communicating and keeping the back line tight.
Looking at the standings right now, Carolina, Dallas, Brooklyn, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa BaySun there at 4th, 30 points. So yes, a big 3 points this weekend going forward. And it's kind of, and you don't want to say anything bad about Spokane, right? Because they have 25, but right now it seems like it's a 5-team race for 4 spots. Do you talk about that kind of thing with the team, internally, saying oh, we got to do this, we got to make the playoffs? Or is that just something you don't even need to say? You got to go out there and try to win games anyway?
Yeah, I think this team is very competitive and we know that we should be in, the top spots, but we're peaking at the right time. And I think we're just trying to stay focused on the task at hand and just treat every game as its own. So
what's the biggest thing that you've learned about, let's go with you first with the Tampa BaySun. What's the biggest thing you learned about yourself so far this season?
I think it's a new role for me, being the captain. It's a leadership role. So I've just tried my best to encourage my teammates on the field vocally, which is new for me. I don't know. I think I've always just led by example. So just being more of a vocal leader and trying to step into that role and help the younger girls on the team. I've just tried to get better at that. And then
have you liked that? Because it is tough, right? Because like you said, trust me, I get it. Because I was always blah, 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 blah. But my one sister, she's more like yourself. Lead by example. And then when somebody tries to bring it out of her, she's like, all right, so it's got to be hard too, right? Because you have to focus on your own game, right? You have to try to do that. So how do you do that? How do you become more vocal when that's not something that you're used to, but also you don't want to come off as disingenuous. You want to come off as genuine too. So how do you find that balance being the leader of a team like that?
I think it's just the way you relay the messages. So obviously, it's different to people that maybe have played for professionally for a couple of years, and then different for our rookies, and just making sure that they feel comfortable and confident on the field. So just trying to encourage everyone in a positive way as much as possible. And then obviously, I'm really competitive, so I hope that my actions on the field will give motivation to the people next to me to tackle hard or sprint harder. So yeah, I think I've tried to balance the leading by example and now adding in the vocal part of it.
You're doing a great job. What have you learned the most about your team as a whole then? I mean, now we look at where we're into the season. I mean, it's 21 matches into the season now, and every team kind of forms its identity. And what would you say the identity is of this team?
I think that we're good in every aspect. Like, we have great goal scorers, we have great defenders, we have great midfielders. Like, we can possess the ball, but we also can go direct because we have aerial threats, and we have center backs that can play great long balls. So we really have it all, and I think it's just piecing it together and realizing when to do which. Because sometimes we get so fixated on the one style, and then we forget about showcasing our other strengths. So the balance has been kind of key for us.
Is that something that comes across? Because, and we see this in, I like to use like the baseball analogy when it comes to this. You may know this hitter can't hit this pitch, but it's not your best pitch. But your best pitch is this, and maybe his better, but you got to go with what works for you rather than what maybe not works for them. Does that take time over the season? Do you feel like that's something that you guys have worked on this year, where, like you said, with the styles, like finding out when you play certain styles, maybe when to press, maybe when to sit back in a low block, something like that?
Yeah, and I think it's also kind of based on the opposition too. There's teams in this league that are very direct. So obviously we're going to play a little different. And then, against Fort Lauderdale, they have really aggressive wingers that are fast. So play a little different there. So yeah, we've been trying to figure it out, but we do have all the tools. So that's the nice part.
How does your role change, playing where you play? Because it's, sometimes, and not taking anything away from, because it's incredibly different, but you kind of know what a center back is doing, right? The center back, especially if like you're one of those big hulking center backs in the middle of your defense, like, all right, I'm helping out the goalie. I'm right here. Maybe I'll get forward on set pieces, but you're not running back and forth and doing a lot of crazy things. If you're playing in the middle of the park in certain games, what is that like? Do you like that? Do you enjoy kind of the ability, that freedom to kind of do a little bit of everything?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. It's different, of course, when you're playing against a midfield that's exactly the same as you, because then one person's kind of out of position. So, yeah, it's just figuring it out, before with our scouting reports. And then every game, I think, is a little bit different. We just adjust our style slightly and maybe personnel to better fit the game. But yeah, I like it. I mean, it's always different.
All right, take me through the big goal for you. I mean, when I saw that thing, I audibly yelled very loud, being that you're a friend of the program here. But my goodness, bent it right in there. I mean, just take me through that whole thing, that right there, picking up the ball and being able to, fire that thing on target and to be able to score. Because when it was funny, because I was watching the game, I turned away, I had to go get food. When I came back, I saw that you scored. I was so mad at myself. I was just like, well, maybe I have to turn away a little bit more. Maybe,
maybe you should.
I felt so bad even telling you that. I was like, should I tell her? I was like, I'm going to do it just because she's a friend of the program. But yeah, if I walk away and you score a hat trick or something like that, I'm going to feel terrible. I might go to the games with a blindfold on. But just take me through that goal, because it was, in my mind, one of the best goals that the Tampa BaySun have had all season long in all 21 matches. I mean, just, take me through it.
Thank you. Yeah, I love to press, and I think this team is really good at pressing. And so I kind of stepped up higher into like a higher role on the press. And I love picking off passes. That's, I think, one of my strengths and always has been. So I saw the center back played a pass that didn't have a lot of pace on it, and the midfielder was going to check, and I just snuck by and stole the ball. And then I like looked up and I was like, there's no one on my team near me to pass the ball to. Like, why am I so high on the field? I think I'm just going to shoot. So I just shot it with my left foot, and I mean, it curled in perfectly, which was nice. So it was a great feeling, and glad that we got the team win.
Do you think that's the nicest goal you've scored?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I always, I haven't scored in a long time. And I mean,
When's the last time you scored?
in like years ago when I played in
Wow.
school. Yeah. So it just always, you never think like a 6 is going to be your goal scorer. So I never, I never focus on that. But I actually, when we had a 4-day break, I did a bunch of shooting with my trainers down in Fort Lauderdale. And I think that gave me a little more confidence to take it myself, and it worked. So.
Wow. So you practiced it before then?
Yeah, we had 4
so
days.
you knew it was coming. So you knew it.
Yeah, I guess you never, I don't know, as a 6, I don't focus on it. I focus more on like passing, receiving, but it's nice to do it. Once you see the ball go in the back of the net in training, it gives you the confidence to do it in the game. So.
And it's, for those who don't know, like 6, more of a holding midfielder, kind of playing a little bit more of a defensive, in the middle of the park there. The fact that you are that so far up on the press there, that's what I love. I mean, I'm watch a ton of European soccer pretty much every week, and I always like that. I like when there's like a wing back that gets way the heck up there, and all of a sudden they're in the middle, and then you see a 6 that's, we're just going to go press, and heck, this is exactly what you did. You were like, I'm up here anyway, I might as well shoot the ball, right? But that's got to be fun to be able to do that, because like you said, you haven't scored it in years. But how important is that though, Jordyn, to have a team that is on the same page? Because we look at it now, right? But if you mess up, or you turn the ball over, or that ball gets saved, if somebody's not, watching your 6, to use a military term, if somebody's not behind you or filling in those gaps, and you guys aren't working in concert, I mean, that could end up being really bad. So how important is that communication? And is that something that you guys were you able to press early on in the season, or is that something that got better as the year went on?
Yeah, I think I always am so concerned about the defensive side. Like that's just me. So I'm always more hesitant to step forward than I would be to track all the way too far back. But yeah, I think that we've just been working so much on the press that I'm like, okay, I'm going to step up. And if, the ball gets played past me, there's going to be my other 6 falling in behind, or the center backs are going to step up. So we've seen those pictures in training. And I think that's what gave everyone the confidence that, okay, if it does break down, we have numbers behind the ball.
It seems like the coaching is really such a huge, and I say that about any team, but like with looking at where you're at in the season at the end, it seems like, and I don't want to speak for you, that it seems like there is a really big effort on focusing on the details and making sure that you are all locked in down the stretch. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, what has it been like with Coach? I mean, you've known Coach for a while, and got to meet her. She's just so amazing. What has it been like for her? What is it like with the other coaching staff, just as the season has gone on? Because listen, you had the break, and then you come back, and you're the captain now. So what's that dynamic? What's that relationship like been for this year? Because it's it's the first season too, right? So this is you're never going to have another year like this in your life. I mean, it's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the first half was hard because none of the team, like we didn't know what any of the teams were doing. The scouting reports weren't really accurate because it was just so new. The players were so new. Everyone was trying to figure it out themselves. So the coaches could provide us just, what they thought might happen. But then as you see, as the season has gone on, teams have been pretty consistent. So now they're able to add those details in that help us when we're playing against them, just to shut down key players, or these are their tendencies. Look out for this in the midfield. So that's been great. And then, my relationship with Denise, I mean, it's great playing for her again. She instills confidence in me every time I step out on the field. And so I love playing for our staff, and I think that they're doing a great job as well.
Yeah, I love being around Coach. She's a maniac in the best way. It's never, ever, ever a dull moment with her. So what have you been up to? I mean, you've been training your butt off down there in Fort Lauderdale, but so what have you been doing now that you've been in Tampa, here as a pro player now. What has it been like? What have you been doing on your off time? Places you eat, TV shows you're binging? What's going on in the life of Jordyn Listro right now?
I'm not a TV girl, and everyone
your
makes
thing.
fun of me for it, but I'm not a TV girl. I had my family here. I had both my parents here for 2 weeks, so that was really nice. Just got to take them around Tampa. I mean, they've been here a bunch, but still nice to go to the beach with them and try some new restaurants with them. We went to what's it called? The new Mexican place.
Oh, I got to check that out. I'm a big Mexican.
Why am I blinking?
It's all right. Message me. We'll let everybody know.
Yeah. Oh, Streetlight Taco. Streetlight Taco.
Oh,
So
gosh.
it's just a fun, chill spot. So we loved that. And just been hanging out with them. So that was really nice having them here.
What's the Jordyn Listro taco order? Everybody wants to know.
Oh, I got the brisket, which I don't really get very often, but I heard that one was the best one and I loved it. So that's my recommendation. Yeah.
Brisket tacos from what's it called again? Streetline?
Streetlight Taco. Yes. It's incredible.
Where is it?
In South Tampa.
Okay, so Streetline Taco, the brisket tacos, right there in South Tampa. Jordyn Listro, the check mark she gives it.
Yes, double check, so good.
Double check. And what kind of are you a taco? Are you a guac person? Sour cream person? All guac? No, just guac.
Yeah, just guac. No sour cream.
No sour. I'm the opposite. I'm no guac. I was like, oh, you can have the guac. Whenever I'm with somebody and I don't eat guac, they look at me like I'm crazy, but then they're like, more guac for me. So it's like, you know, it's a trade-off. So
true.
Just the way it goes. All right, Jordyn Listro, Tampa BaySun, crushing it as always, representing our community and just on and off the pitch like an absolute pro. Jordyn, always great to catch up with you. Thank you so much. Best of luck this weekend. Again, TampaBaySunFC.com. All the information on there, the schedule, all the match day stuff, the tickets. Go check them out. It is an incredible experience. It's so awesome to be able to watch soccer there right on the water. You're the best, Jordyn. Thank you so much. Continued success. Keep shooting. Keep shooting.
Okay.
I want to see another
goal. Turn away from my goal. Turn away this week.
This is my I swear if you score another goal, I'm going to post a picture. I'm going to tag you in it with my eyes.
Okay, I will.
You're the best. Thanks, Jordyn. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye. She's the best, man. I mean, think about that. The determination, the grit. She's just such a fantastic athlete. She really is. Good stuff. Wow, the USL Championship. Writing a article on Robbie Neilson, Nick Murray writing it right now. Wow, that's big time. This is a big deal, man. This is a big deal. And this is the thing. You're not going to be able to hear that talk anywhere else than right here on the Jay Recher podcast. We're talking Isaac Howard. We're talking Robbie Neilson. We're talking Rays. We're talking Bucks. We're talking a little bit of everything here on the program. A big thank you to Jordyn Listro and Leo Fernandes for joining us today. I tell you what, we got a lot of everything today, didn't we? We got on the Nico Emiliava stuff as well from Tennessee. Before we go, Jalen Petre signs a 3-year deal with the Texans. Joe Flacco going back to the Browns. Justin Rose, and we'll give you one more update here from the Masters. Justin Rose, 8 under, first place, 1 under today. He shot a 7 under yesterday, 65, blowing. I don't know if anybody's going to do that today. We'll see. Through 17, so he's on 18 right now. Bryson DeChambeau, a shot behind, and then Soon J M, a shot behind him, and then 5 under, tied for 4th, Matty McCarty, Rory McIlroy, and Corey Connor. So we'll keep you abreast of that throughout the entire weekend here on social media for sure. Der Klassikers tomorrow on ESPN, Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund. I like that. That's always one of the better matches, one of the better derbies there in Europe. All right, guys, make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. So many great tidbits of information today, and God, I can't thank you all enough for the love and the support. I mean, you guys crushed it as always. I mean, now my cousin's sending me message. I wonder if this is true, blah, 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 when it comes to sports. No, it's not true. The Rays aren't going to Raleigh. Check the date. It was April 1st. Thank you, Leo Fernandes of the Tampa Bay Rowdies, rowdysoccer.com. I'll be there tomorrow. Come say hi to Al Lang. Shout out to Jordyn Listro, Tampa BaySun, the Tampa BaySun FC.com. Thank you to David Terry again for the super chat. Every little bit helps, guys. Thank you. And Lady Evil as well. If you're at the Lightning game, come by and say hello. Again, at Jay Recher, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. I am everywhere. I'm going to be working on some more video stuff after I get some lunch over there at Publix. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Let's get these subscribers up as high as humanly possible. We have another unboxing video coming next week. Recher reveals. Shout out to Steinbrenner High School and our guy, Chenzo Scagno. I had a couple of people reach out to me as well, saying, hey, can we send you some stuff? You bet your bottom dollar that you can. Lightning and Wings tonight, 7 o'clock puck drop right here at Amalie Arena. Make sure you follow me and check out Recher's Rapid Reaction and find out what kind of shoes that I am wearing tonight. I love you all. Stephanie, Dave, Benny, everybody. You guys are the best. We'll see you on Monday. Everybody have a happy and healthy weekend. You guys are the best. We'll see you Monday right here on the Jay Recher Podcast. I'm gone.